How he starts this match. Again, a thrilling 200-199 win in the semifinals over Chris Barnes. And again, it was not pretty for Scroggins. Struck in the first, and then 4 spares in a row, a strike in the 6th, a spare in the 7th, and then he started to warm up.
And looking to become the first southpaw since Mike Albee, 1989, to win a U.S. Open title.
One of the most underrated bowlers in the PBA.
Mike-Scroggins.
Absolutely. And underappreciated, I think.
Without question. But those of us out here that know Mike-Scroggins, we know different. We know what a class act he is, what a gentleman he is, and what a great talent he is.
His 33rd career TV singles appearance, just 5 titles, one of them a major. Now here is, what a wonderful story. Norm Duke won the first major of the season. It was the first tournament of the year, the PBA World Championships in Wichita. It was his 3rd straight major title.
On the same lane, Chris Barnes left the stone 8. Norm Duke starts this match with a stone 8. And I guarantee you the next time Norm gets up on this right lane, he's going to take a long, hard look at that rack. It's incomprehensible how that's happening. You see it once, okay. You see it twice out of the last 3 shots thrown on that lane with 2 different bowlers. Very unusual.
And here's what a major title means to Norm.
Majors are, there are pinnacle events, and I think that our careers will be evaluated at the end in our ability to win the major championships. And I watch Tiger Woods like a hawk, just like everybody else in America. And to see what he does in the majors is not only unbelievable, but it's admirable. And I want to do the same thing in bowling that he does in golf, and that is dominate in these major events.
He told us, you know, in history, our careers will be scrutinized by how well we play at majors and how many we win. And he said, and I love this last night, Randy, I want to pad the stats a little bit right now, and majors are a way to do that.
Well, remember, the last time a player defended a U.S. Open title was back in 1995-96 with Dave Husted. Prior to that, you would have to go back to the All-Stars, which was the predecessor to the U.S. Open. Get to that in a minute.
Did not like it.
All right.
Wide left off his hand.
Not get it left. How many times are you going to do that?
There were 3 players that successfully defended All-Star titles. That would have been Dick Weber, Don Carter, and a gentleman by the name of Andy Verapapa. And this is a great nugget. I got this from Johnny Petraglia. He said, you know, Randy, one of the most impressive feats that I've ever seen is that when Andy Verapapa successfully won back-to-back All-Star tournaments on,
Well, I didn't want to chop it like I did against Barnes, so I messed it on another way.
Open frame for Scroggins.
Andy Verapapa wins back-to-back All-Star tournaments back in the 40s when it was a 100-game tournament, and he did it at age 55 and 56. And the very next year at age 57, he finished 2nd.
There's some bowling stamina for you.
I couldn't bowl 100 games right now at age 46.
Is the 4-7 heavy on that approach.
I promise you that 2-0-0 will not win this game. Won't happen.
This may be deja vu all over again for Mike Scroggins. His only major title came at the 05 Masters. He was the number 2 seed there. And who did he beat? Norm Duke for it. And that was their only TV confrontation until right now. Scroggins, 5 titles, 1 major. Norm Duke, 32 titles, 6 majors. He wins today. It'll be his 33rd tournament title, and he'll be all alone in 5th place, breaking a tie with Parker Bone III, and then that would pull him to within 1 of both Mark Roth and Pete Weber. And he is heavy and leads the big 4.
Looked like he turned that shot early. Right at the bottom of the swing, watch the hand. Looked like it went around just a shade early, which is all it takes here to get that ball to overreact.
3.
He told you before our broadcast began with live bowling that he was a little nervous about this coming out. He amps himself up so much for the majors, particularly this tournament.
Yeah, and you know, maybe I'm wrong to assume this, but I mean, totally understandable, him being nervous, amped up. But when you see the winning score of the match before you was 2-0-0, I mean, that's kind of a calming, that should have a calming effect on him coming into this title match.
It is a sloppy title match right now, and not sloppy because poor skill. There's some really challenging conditions out there.
Well, you can bet right now that Norm is calculating all of the possibilities, adjustments in his head right now, and when we come back from break, I guarantee you there will be a change.
So Duke picks up the spare. When we return, the conclusion of the 66th edition of the U.S. Open, Mike-Scroggins versus Norm Duke. Brunswick, New Jersey. That is the hardware. That is the ring. $100,000 check, 3-year exemption, and Player of the Year honors should Norm Duke win it. Mike-Scroggins about to step up for his effort in the 4th. He is up 2. It has been scrappy, resourceful so far here in the title match for both competitors.
Yeah, we talked about the last Southpaw to ever win this tournament, which was Mike Albee. Ironically, Mike-Scroggins used to room with Mike Albee.
And Mike-Scroggins beat Duke in both head-to-head battles this week as well. Who is the favorite right now after 4 in your mind?
I think it's a coin toss.
Okay. Another strike for Scroggins. I guess, let me rephrase that. How much of an advantage is it for Scroggins having bowled the prior match here on the lanes?
Oh, it's huge for him. You know, quite honestly, it didn't look like he should have gotten by Chris Barnes. He did because of bad luck that Chris Barnes ended up getting in the 10th frame. Norm Duke doesn't look like he's comfortable on this pair yet. Advantage Mike-Scroggins.
Leaves the 7.
I'm gonna throw the spare and I'm gonna need tape.
Not a lot of violence in the pins today with Norm's tosses.
Little shaker 7 there, light. He doesn't like the entry angle that he's getting right now. He's going to have to make some type of adjustment.
What would be the adjustment you'd recommend to him?
Well, again, you know, the adjustments this week were so subtle. It could be something as simple as just a little bit softer speed on that lane to get the ball to face up a little bit stronger. But, you know, he's made the decision to go with the ball that he's using. As you see, Norm's going to tape. He's going to replace the tape in his thumb hole. You look at the holes on Norm's bowling balls. You notice the edges are razor sharp, and that basically what he does is he pulls it right off the press. Look at that thumb hole there and the finger holes down there. He pulls it off of the drill press and doesn't take a sander to those holes. And the reason why he does that is because it eliminates him from squeezing any of the holes.
Gets his 2nd strike, coming in the 6th frame.
I will say this, though, nobody's more resilient than Norm Duke, and he does have the major championship experience. He's been in this situation before, and I think if it comes down to the 10th frame, he'll handle the pressure better.
Again, Duke has won 6 majors. A win today would be his 7th, which would tie him for 4th most with Walter Ray Williams Jr. Earl Anthony, of course, #1 on that list with 10 major titles.